comedy, pop culture, and everything in between. By idiots, for idiots. Welcome, sinners. This is Sports Idiot Nation.
Welcome into Sports Idiot Nation. It is almost the 4th of July, and so you need a little sin in your life before you're going to start blowing stuff up. So it is I, Adam Marino, as always, joined by Miles Behind Enemy Lines, and of course, T.I. Sports Idiot Nation comes to you every Monday and Thursday. We are wrapping up Season 1. Stay tuned. Season 2 is rapidly approaching. July 4th is rapidly approaching. The sun is rapidly approaching my head. We talk about the dog days of summer. It's hot. I don't know how it is in Nashville and Texas, bro. It's got to be hotter than, I'm close to Lake Michigan, and I'm still frying. Like, you could fry an egg on my head. I don't know if you see the scar.
Your head kind of looks like the shape of an egg, you know?
Egghead. All right.
Where's his neck?
That's enough. All right. So, T.I., what is your son like to do when it's this hot? Are you old school, like sprinkler kind of guy? Like, what do you guys do when it's hot?
Yeah, just take the kids out in the backyard, hose them down a little bit, smoke a cigarette.
Now get naked so we don't have to do laundry.
Yeah, smoke a Pall Mall, drink a Milwaukee's Beast. Nashville is very hot on July 4th. Very hot, always very hot. And ironically, they have the Hot Chicken Festival on July 4th, which makes sense.
Nice.
I have lobbied for an October Hot Chicken Festival ever since they started, but hey, they're not listening to me. Anyway,
you a sponsor?
Not yet. We could be one of these days. But I like to eat hot chicken. We go. There's a couple little, fireworks shows and local stuff. The little town I grew up in, Pegram. It's a little country town. They always do a little, the little local vibe. July 4th celebration, small town vibes are always kind of fun to go to. Especially when you grew up there. Because I go back and see a lot of people I went to high school with and stuff. So we do that, but you can only do that so long because it's so hot, man. So try to hit a pool up. I don't go downtown much. Used to go downtown when I was younger, but not these days, man. I'm not going to take my kid downtown, man. So you got the whole fireworks or gunshots. You don't know really which one it is, So I'm going to let him at least hit 18 before he has to start determining if they're fireworks or gunshots, So
It's a game in Nashville called This or That. You guys like to play it out there? Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah, I love
it. We're low key, man, with the 4th. I know some people go all out, but man, my family's always been pretty low key, man. Just small barbecue, some ice cold beers. Not a lot of sports outside of baseball really to watch. So, that's about it.
Yeah. So, Miles, I want to ask you, I got a story to tell you about where you grew up, Miles, and I want to know if you remember things like this.
Remind me where that was. Yeah, remind me.
Yeah. So in good old Fort Wayne, Indiana, where I preside, where Miles and I met in front of enemy lines. I don't know why I said that. I just was like, "Ooh, I'll be clever." I wasn't very clever. It was just dumb. I'm an idiot. I'm the rotary girder. All right. Proceed. Yeah. So anyway, I am not from here originally, and in California, there's something called no humidity. So you move out to the Midwest, and there's you're sweating by just peeling an orange, like doing nothing. So I remember there was a 4th of July where everyone brought their blankets. We were going to sit on the grass and, throw a Frisbee or two or a tennis ball with the Velcro thing. You strap it here and then you remember that game. All right. So we're 100%, right? We're doing all that and it's stupid and it doesn't really stick to the Velcro. And it's like, okay, paddle ball. And we go to sit down and we almost start bleeding out our butts because the grass is like needles. And I'm from California. I'm like, what is happening? Yeah. And they even said you couldn't shoot off certain fireworks because the grass would light on fire. And I'm like, what is happening? We moved here so that we could blow crap up because in California, you certainly can't. It's not every year, but do you ever recall 4th of July's where it was just unbelievably crazy like that?
Ridiculously hot, yes. And it's interesting because down here in Texas, it is a different beast than even Tennessee. I've lived where all three of us currently live. I've obviously lived in all three of them. Texas is another animal. I do remember that in Indiana, but here's the difference. Here's why I would even argue Indiana's worse is because in Texas, you acclimate to it by like mid-April. Up there in Indiana, mid-April, you still might get some freaking snow.
No,
So
yeah.
when it hits 90 this time of year, I've already experienced that for like 3 months now. But they do make a joke down here. It's like, hey, I'm thinking about visiting Texas in July. How's it down there? Have you ever been cremated before? That's how it would be to pretty much the rest of the country. But for me, it's like, yeah, it's been 93, 94 degrees for a while. So it's really not that bad. So to your point, up in Indiana, that feel, it's probably even more intense because, again, you haven't acclimated to 90-degree weather. I talk to my family all the time. It feels like 2 weeks ago it was 65 and cloudy there. It was Seattle up by you. And now the humidity, it's not as bad here in DFW as, say, Houston. Fort Wayne is what it is. Tennessee is what it is. But it's not as atrocious here as you might honestly think. But Fort Wayne, when you're coming from California, abysmal. I remember being in basic training where you had a bunch of kids from Cali, a bunch of kids from New England, going to Missouri, which is Indiana or Tennessee extended, basically. And they were like, this is insane. The rest of us from the Midwest are like, lame. It's a different beast when you start to feel the Midwest or the Mid-South hot in July when you're coming off a frigid-ass winter.
So, T.I., I got to ask you.
Well, hold on. I got to answer Miles' question. He asked if anybody had ever been cremated. I have not.
My bad.
I have not been cremated, but I have went to a cremation once, and it was very hot, and it smelled very bad. It smelled very bad. I did it in my biology class in high school, and we had to get our parents to sign a waiver to go. And so I just want to answer your question. I have not been cremated, but I have been to one. So
same thing, because I lived in Kuwait and I walked into a cremation every time I opened the door, and you felt like you opened an oven, and it just hits
behind
you in the
enemy lines.
Yeah, I mean, surrounded by the enemy lines. We were in that little pocket where they actually liked us and paid for us to be there and drank beer on 4th of July. That's a fun story right there. If we can get into that a little bit later in this episode, the one time I drank overseas in a country where alcohol is illegal on the 4th of July. In any case, when you feel that kind of heat, you're like, there's no way I can handle it, or at least hear about no way I can handle it. But when you experience it for 3 months prior, it's just like, well, it's a Thursday in the month, or I guess this year it's a Friday. Hell yeah, 3-day weekend, let's get it on.
Let's rock. Yeah.
You poor guys growing up as kids, man. You got cremation summers and bleeding
needles
out of your butts. I mean, Adam, I was going to say you might want to consult a physician about that. I didn't know they had Chipotle's back then, but
he shit, and he tried wiping his ass with a pine cone. Didn't go so well.
I thought Chipotle's was a relatively new fast food chain. I didn't know they had them back when you were a kid, but anyway. But
So, all right, T.I., this is what I want to ask you. The ever famous Back It Up Terry video, we all know it. What I'm curious is, I'll just be honest, I am not a hater. I love you, man. I love your state. But Back It Up Terry has sincere Tennessee vibes to me. And I'm curious, have you had any situations growing up where like, oh God, that was close. Like this dude almost blew off his finger. Are you a fireworks family? Like, am I being a hater? I'm not trying to be. I'm being honest.
Fireworks family. I'm also a family of carnies and monster truck enthusiasts. No, I get very high Jacksonville, Daytona Beach vibes from Back It Up Terry personally. I don't know about Nashville personally. I get a little Florida vibe. No, growing up, I spent a lot of summers in Florida. My grandmother had a condo down there, so it was a timeshare thing.
No one likes a bragger.
Yeah. So I let the people know it's a timeshare. Sure, yeah. And So I would get to go down there this summer. That was like when she had it, which was cool. And Florida, my cousins and uncles and aunts, and like they were all like, Florida redneck kind of, and they were all into the fireworks, man. They have all their digits. They can still count to 10, but they would be the first candidates to do that. So I'm an idiot. I can't. That's right.
Need that shirt.
But yeah, so I'm not going to say I'm a fireworks family, but I will go to the said fireworks stand and, drop $100 and blow shit up. I mean,
who's for do's or who's for don'ts?
Who doesn't want to blow? Yeah.
Scooter without the
Joe Dirte.
Yes, I mean, nobody wants to see snakes, man. They want to see shit blow up.
T.I. knows it's not about him. It's about the consumer.
That's right. That's right.
So
name's Dirt, son. Can't church it up.
Exactly.
Dear Joe
garden. Dig it.
That takes us to a couple movies, and one movie that strikes me is The Sandlot. Might be one of my all-time favorites for watching on the 4th of July, because the whole summer encompasses on like the 4th of July, I feel like, because no one's working, and you always want to go back to a kid. You're not working when you're a kid, but even the adults aren't working on the 4th of July, and baseball. And I will say, I love that baseball has gone down to 2 hours. I can handle 2 hours, not 3.5. But The Sandlot, even in the movie, they make a big deal about 4th of July, how they play the night game and it's like celebrated. It's a big deal. They go eat the food first during the day and then they play the night game. That's so cool. It's such a fun concept. But other than that, I want to ask you, are there any movies, because there's not much going on, are there certain movies, Independence Day, Born on the 4th of July? I'll admit, I don't know what Born on 4th of July is about with Woody Harrelson. Do you guys know?
Woody Harrelson is not in Born on the 4th of July. It's Tom Cruise.
No.
Tom Cruise.
It's Woody Harrelson, isn't it?
It's Tom Cruise. Born on the 4th of July. It's Tom Cruise. I mean, if Woody Harrelson may be in it, but that's Tom
pull
Cruise.
Pull up the Google
movie.
machine.
That's a Tom Cruise movie, right?
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, that's Tom Cruise.
Well, do you know it's from 1989?
Yeah.
I wasn't alive yet. You guys were adults.
Okay, so it is Tom Cruise.
Yeah,
he's
Tom Cruise.
in the Marines.
Yeah, he's like it's like a I don't know,
adaptation of Top Gun, of course.
Yeah, it's like it's Oliver Stone. I think it's Oliver Stone.
It's a prequel to A Few Good Men.
So it's a lot of like going to war, sacrifice, and coming back, kind of getting treated like shit.
Dafoe.
making political statements. That kind of it's got the whole stance.
Adam's confusing it with Zombieland, of course.
No, he's confusing
there is a
with
movie
White Man Can't Jump. That's
guys. Yeah. There's a movie with Woody Harrelson. There's a movie with Woody Harrelson that is centered something around.
I don't know.
Either Born on the 4th. Oh god.
Yeah,
I've derailed.
I've derailed. Now you're talking about something that doesn't even exist.
Another movie appropriate for 4th of July.
Yeah, you've totally like Bernstein Bared us with that one. The Sinbad movie, Genie movie. Yeah.
You've been Mandela'd.
It's like in Last Action Hero when he goes back and sees like Sylvester
We're going to be here for the
Terminator,
next 6 hours as Adam Googles Woody Harrelson kind of 4th of July movies. So with that in mind, Adam, I got to push you to the side and I've got to take this one because you brought up Independence Day. And as I mentioned before, my time in Kuwait, the fact that I was in Kuwait for the 4th of July, it was the one day I got to drink in the 9 months I was there. So you got to understand, 2 beers, and they were 2 tall boys, albeit, but I was feeling mighty fine after 2 beers, and especially drinking behind enemy lines, where if alcohol is illegal in your country, you might as well be an enemy of me, and therefore the United States and our Constitution that they're loved. But after we went out, got our couple of beers, we got our hands marked, and of course we had buddies that went out, washed it off, and then went and got 2 more beers as they had. I wasn't that risky because I was in our basic leadership course, and it was the night before I graduated, which was the last step I took before I got promoted to sergeant. Cool shit. If you're in the military, you get it. You 2 knuckleheads here or there, whatever, I don't care. But anyways, it was awesome. So we go out, we get our drinks, we have a great ass time. There are some memories there that you just don't understand unless you've been overseas, and you throw some back. GO1 aside, General Order 1, that restricts us from drinking. After that, a couple of guys go out to get their other drinks. We get back and we have this huge mosh of probably like 50 people. And we said, all right, what movie can we watch? We're overseas. Like, yeah, I swear, 40 people. I'm probably making this up. Don't care, but it's how I remember it. 40 people at one time. Independence Day, mother. So we get that on,
Right.
we get going, and we're like, yep, super terroristy, Middle Eastern. Yep, that guy kind of looks Middle Eastern. That alien's Middle Eastern. Welcome to Earth, bitch.
Yeah.
Adapting it where we turn the aliens basically into towel heads. It's a fun time. So that is one of my ultimate memories. The only time that I got to deploy overseas, of course, in Kuwait, where nothing's happened since you guys were like 20. So that was 30 years ago. It was a moment of the lifetime, the best 4th of July of my life. And again, when you can not drink, when you're forced not to drink and you can only do it on the 4th of July, it is totally worth it. So if you're going to go sober for, let's just say, a 9-month period, and you can break it up almost perfectly, because I was there March to December, again, the night before I graduated from basic leadership course, BLC, which again, if you're enlisted in the military, you know what that is. If you're in the Army, it's a big deal. It just, everything. The stars aligned. The stars aligned. And we topped it off with Independence Day right before we graduated. No one got kicked out. That's kind of a modern miracle that no one drank themselves out of graduating from BLC. Got it done. Capped it off with Independence Day. Again, ultimate 4th of July moment for me. In terms of movie, in terms of beer, in terms of deployment. 2019, forever in my heart.
Here's a quick trivia on Independence Day. Quick trivia: the doctor on
Woody Harrelson.
Independence Day. No, the doctor with the long hair who's crazy, who the alien uses his voice to talk. It's really creepy.
Yes,
is also Data on Star Trek. You're welcome. It's the same guy.
Now,
I thought
honestly, that's my favorite line. That's my favorite line from that. And sorry, Tia, I'll throw it over to you. But oh shoot! Now I'm biffing it right here. I'm blowing it up. But when he says, the last 24 hours have been really exciting. Exciting? People are dying out there. Exciting is not the way I would describe it. We're like, no, what's going on tonight here is very exciting.
Yeah. Natural Born Killers. There you go. That's the movie.
That's what
I was completely messing up.
That's what I was trying to say. I was going to say.
I humbly apologize. That is not even close to anything.
Yeah, that was now that you.
That's the movie. Juliette Lewis and Woody Harrelson
wasted all of our time, efforts.
Yeah, that's it for
that's
today.
what I was going to say. I'm very surprised that Miles's fellow group there, fellow constituents,
natural born killers,
didn't want to watch Born on the 4th of July starring Woody Harrelson. I was surprised that they didn't want to watch that movie.
Temu, but it's a Temu version.
Yeah. Then I was going to say, but Adam is mistaken because he's thinking about Natural Born Killers. But you beat me to it. You stared at me. I figured it out, but I was being polite and letting Miles tell the story. And while you were staring at your phone, ignoring him, trying to figure it out because you couldn't let your brain rest about it.
I had to ramble just so Adam could figure out.
No, I figured it out. I figured what was going on. Adam was just like, oh man, just stall, Miles, stall. I just gotta figure it out.
I gotta recover.
Gotta figure it out. We might as well just call this episode Woody Harrelson.
We might.
Yeah, but
not Born on the 4th of July.
Natural
Woody
Born Killers
Harrelson affected.
Which again, kind of similar. You got people kind of going on trial. In a way, you got people criticizing their decisions. So there's a lot in common there with Born on the 4th of July and Natural Born Killers. So.
Tom Cruise.
But it's the same director. So you got that, Adam. You got that, Oliver Stone.
Yes, and I did see that too. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of being born on the 4th of July, did you know that Malia Obama, Post Malone, are born on the 4th of July? Those are the two most famous people I know.
The two most famous people. I was going to say, there's the only two people in society
there's other
ever
people,
born.
Obviously. America was as well.
Now, I only know
don't know if you know that.
The two most famous people that died on 4th of July, same day. Johnny Adams and Tommy Boy Jefferson.
So, Thomas Jefferson was, 1826, died.
Not Callahan.
Gone
Although
too
his dad
soon.
did his
1826.
but
Too soon,
Tommy
guys.
Callahan Jr. had his heart attack around 4th of
Yeah.
July, I believe, on his wedding day.
Yeah. Wedding day, I'll tell you this. Miles may not remember this. I know he may know the story. My wedding that didn't take was on July 3rd. Today. So if it did stick, I may not be here because I'd be celebrating an anniversary, but we know how that worked out.
Well, thank God
So-
for divorce.
Yeah. So
Did
yes,
you have a?
thank-
It didn't take. Did you have a system error? Was it a malfunction? Some kind
well, yeah.
It was
404
control deleted.
404, a wife not found. You know? Yeah.
404. I love that. I know the 404 error code. Yeah.
It's like, hey, Adam, I did it too, but I just shut my system down, rebooted, and then I got another wife. So
Yeah,
that's-
and you
that's how
fell
you do
into Brazil.
Brazil.
Oh man. All right. We have derailed and I don't even know. I guess one thing I want to bring up,
It's your
we
fault.
talked about
True.
I
It's
know.
Woody
We talked
Harrelson's
about-
fault.
yeah. We talked about Tommy Boy. Again, check the show notes, Tommy Boy Fest, more information to come. If you're in and around the Midwest, you got to check this out. Details will be coming soon. It's in next month. And speaking of next month, it is very cool that next month will already be month 2 of preseason football because preseason football starts in July.
That's right.
Hey, we're less than a month away
There's
from the
Football
Hall of
game.
Fame game. And hey, what's kind of cool is the Detroit Lions are good enough that they can get a nationally televised preseason game like it's a big deal. Because before they'd be like, what? Detroit? I know it's preseason, but no one wants to see that. And now it's like, actually, we got to see if they're going to still be
wanna see
good. They
the
got a lot of
third
changes.
stringers.
But
The new America's team. The new America's
new-
team. The new
I'll
America's
take that
team.
over Dallas. I will take that.
That's right.
I can't believe Dallas found a way to be in the podcast. Ugh, that's frustrating.
I'm
Tried to
just-
go a whole show without mentioning Dallas.
It's the one time in our lives that we're excited to watch 4th and 5th string players do battle to eventually be cut.
Oh,
you know?
we talked about this last episode. That meme on Twitter that went viral of like, I'd do anything for a crappy Thursday night football game right now. You know, it's like, hey, when July 31st comes, we will be absolutely glued. Like, what? You know, now here's a guy. Because I think, isn't it those guys? Is it, who does that game, Miles? Do you know?
It's
I
probably
gotta look that
guy.
up.
That's-
Is it Collinsworth?
That's NBC. It's NBC, so it should be.
That's Collinsworth.
And
That's Collinsworth.
Yep. Now
Just
here's
saying.
a guy. Now here's
Nota
a guy.
bene.
Now here's a guy that won't make the team.
Now every time they
They should let
show,
us in.
you know, every time they show Herbert on the sidelines, you know, like not playing because he's obviously not going to be playing there. He's like, now here's a guy that has to go up against Patrick Mahomes twice.
Yeah, I'll tell you what I love about Mahomes. Here's a guy. He just gets it, doesn't he, Mike?
You got your work cut out for you in the AFC West.
We should do a Sunday night football counter all season long of Patrick Mahomes mentions by one Chris Collinsworth.
Now,
So
here's
speaking
a
of
guy.
Speaking of counter, make sure you check our YouTubery of my George Bushism YouTubery for, or I should say, Will Ferrell. That's a quick thing.
Mhm.
George Bush never said strategic.
No, he never said that. That was
Will Ferrell
Ferrell.
just said it, and people thought he did. Anyway, YouTubery for a counter of ding 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 ding. What was it? Over 25 times.
25
that
plus.
we-
I had to
we
edit
found
it
a
down.
way.
I had to edit it down. I mean,
Yeah,
it was 7 minutes.
It was 37.
Long. Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of phallic references there.
Yes.
There are a
so
lot of
maybe you
flaccid
should check
penis
that out.
discussed
Yeah, just
Our
discuss amongst
Martin-
yourselves.
And from
Game of Thrones.
and
Would have
not
been
the first,
please.
and it definitely won't be the last that we talk about flaccid penises on this
Fair.
show.
Not the first or last time that I remind you. Be sure to check the description, the show notes, Tommy Boy Fest, also the link for the shirts that Miles and I have. T.I., I will submit to you that we need what you got there, the Titans idiot there. Dude, I would rock that almost.
I didn't make
for Sports
this.
Idiot Nation?
A fan follower
Yes.
of the page sent me this. I made
No,
this.
and I remember that.
Yes.
I remember you told that story, but I'm just saying we do need to work on that for season 2. As I remind you, season 2 is rapidly approaching because, dude, gear like that is where it's at for show. I'm
I
getting
was-
that for show.
This would be a nice addition. I was kind of thinking some nipple rings, maybe, with like
Well, I'd
the
be out
Sin
on
logos. Sin logos.
I'd be out.
To each their own.
Yeah, to each their own. So again, remember, new episodes are every Monday and Thursday as we get ready to wrap up season 2. We get ready to wrap up. There's 2 seasons. There's football season and waiting for football season. We are getting ready to wrap up waiting for football season. So stay tuned, and we will see you Monday. Okay, all you sinners, follow Sports Idiot Nation on TikTok, X, and Instagram. Like us on Facebook, and remember, the most fun way to watch us is on YouTube every Monday and Thursday. Be sure to hit the notification bell so you can be updated when new content drops. Remember, the podcast can also be found on the usual suspects of Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Always remember, don't be an idiot.
Sinner.